Let me take a quick attendance of you all, and then we start with the class. I hope you all have the books with you, children.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम।
Yes, नोमान बोलिए
मैम
बेटा।
आपके पास मेरी पीडीएफ आ गई?
आपका नाम लिया हमने।
मैम मैम मेरे में कनेक्ट हो रही थी ऑडियो, इसलिए सुना नहीं था।
नहीं नहीं, आपकी आ गई है हमारे पास, आप परेशान मत होइए, ठीक है।
ओके।
Okay, this is 9th ABC all together, right? 9th A. Attendance of 9th A. Ananya Gupta, sorry, Anya Gupta, Abhay Tomar, Abhinav Pandey,
Present, ma'am.
Abhishek, Aditya Srivastava। बेटा अभिषेक की भी पीडीएफ नहीं आई है हमारे पास। आदित्य श्रीवास्तव, अग्रिम वशिष्ठ, अजीत सिंह, देन आकाश वर्मा, अक्षदा, अक्षत शर्मा, अनमता,
Present, ma'am.
अंगद,
Present, ma'am.
धनंजय आपने अभी भेजी है ना?
ना मैम अभी नहीं मैम, पहले से आपने लिखा था रीसेट, तो मैम ने दोबारा भेजी है।
अच्छा,
मैम
अब वो
आपने लिखा था ना रीसेट करो।
अब वो ऊपर वाली भी खुल रही है, पहले ऊपर वाली खुली नहीं रही थी आपकी।
मैम ऐसे
चलो ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है। मनित छाबड़ा क्वेश्चन मार्क बना के भेज रहे हैं, व्हाट टू रीसेंड। टीना आपने भी भेज दी बेटा अभी?
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, चलिए सही है, फाइन। देन अंगद सिंह नहीं है, अनुज वर्मा तो है ही नहीं, आर्यन मौर्य, आर्यन सिंह, ठीक है, आर्यन वाजपेयी, आयुष सेनगार,
Present, ma'am.
भूमिका पटेल नहीं है, चिराग गंगवार, दीपशिखा, देवांश सिंह पटेल, हर्षवर्धन सिंह तोमर, हिमांशु, कनिका चौहान,
Present, ma'am.
गुड मॉर्निंग, काव्या अग्रवाल, काव्या अग्रवाल, काव्यांश, खुशबू, लक्ष्य कुमार, माहीन, मानस, हसीन, कैफ,
Present, ma'am.
I saw you, कैफ, निखिल नेहरा, प्रियांशु सिंह,
Present, ma'am.
ओके, निखिल नेहरा प्रेजेंट, राघव राज, राघव राज इज प्रेजेंट,
Yes, ma'am.
ओके, राघव इज प्रेजेंट।
Yes.
हाँ, शेखर शाह, विवान पटेल, यदवेंद्र।
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
गुड मॉर्निंग। अभिषेक कौन से वाले? राजस्थान वाले अभिषेक है ये?
यस मैम।
बेटा आपकी पीडीएफ नहीं आई है हमारे पास।
मैम मेरी पीडीएफ मैम मैंने पहले ही भेज दी थी, और अब मैम मैंने मतलब राजस्थान में था तो
वो खुल नहीं रही है,
वो
हम आपको पहले ही बता दें, वो आपकी पीडीएफ नहीं खुल रही है, उस दिन भी नहीं खुली थी, है ना। हमें लगा शायद हो सकता है नेटवर्क इशू होगा तो हम बाद में खोल लेंगे, बट वो खुली नहीं है आपकी पीडीएफ।
मैम अब
आपके पास जो काम होगा उसको फोटोकॉपी, उसको खींच के भेजो, उसकी फोटो पेपर पेंसिल पे तो लिखा होगा
वो
कहीं।
तो कॉपी नहीं है मेरे पास।
क्यों नहीं है
क्योंकि
कॉपी?
मैम वो राजस्थान में छूट गई।
क्यों छूट गई राजस्थान में? आपको अपने साथ अपनी चीजें रखनी चाहिए, नहीं रखनी चाहिए, स्पेशली टेस्ट जैसी चीज।
मैम मुझे लगा कि अब बस उसका हो चुका है।
ऐसे कैसे हो चुका है? ऐसे कैसे
और
हो चुका है?
मैम मेरा मतलब परसों तक मैम मेरे फोन में थी, और मैंने
हाँ।
परसों ही फोन चेंज करा है।
बेटा
तो
परसों ही
मैम
मांगा था हमने, बेटा परसों ही मांगा था, परसों ही रिसेंड करने के लिए कहा गया था आपको।
मैं सुबह सुबह हुई थी ना, मतलब मैंने सुबह ही लिया था।
चलो
और
हम
मैम
बाद में बात
आपका
करेंगे,
है
हम बाद में बात करेंगे। अभ्युदय, आकांक्षा, अक्षत
मैम
कुमार,
विवान प्रेजेंट।
Present, ma'am.
विवान इज प्रेजेंट।
यस
Ma'am,
मैम।
I'm Akansha.
ओके,
Ma'am, I'm also present.
आकांक्षा इज प्रेजेंट, आई हैव मार्क्ड यू प्रेजेंट।
Okay, ma'am.
अच्छा, विवान पटेल इज प्रेजेंट, फाइन। देन वी हैव अक्षत कुमार,
प्रेजेंट मैम।
आनंद कुमार, अनन्या सिंह,
Present, ma'am.
राधे, आर्यन राज, आश्रय सेठी, आयुष सिंह, भूमिका चंदानी, धनंजय कुमार,
प्रेजेंट मैम।
हर्षवर्धन, हर्षित कुमार,
प्रेजेंट मैम।
हर्ष,
मैं हर्षवर्धन प्रेजेंट।
हर्ष इज प्रेजेंट। देन हयाबी इशिका, कपिल पटेल, कपिल यादव, कुणाल सिंह, कुणाल प्रेजेंट है।
मैम कुणाल प्रेजेंट।
कुणाल इज प्रेजेंट। देन लवलीश, महक,
Present, ma'am.
दिस इज महक नो।
Yes, ma'am.
ओके, मनत छाबड़ा, फैज, नुमान, शोएब,
प्रेजेंट मैम।
प्रेजेंट मैम।
ओके, नुमान इज प्रेजेंट। देन नवजोत, शोएब इज प्रेजेंट।
मैम मोहम्मद फैज खान प्रेजेंट।
Okay, Mohammed Faiz Khan present. Navjot Singh, not there. Ramsha, are you there, Ramsha?
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Okay. Ronit Patwari, Sachin. Sachin, are you there? Sanya,
Present, ma'am.
Shivanshi, Ujjwal, Vibhanshu,
प्रेजेंट मैम।
and Vishesh. Vishesh,
ma'am.
ठीक है, ठीक है। चलिए, now C section. C section. Aiza,
Present, ma'am.
Akansha, Apurva,
Present, ma'am.
then
प्रेजेंट मैम।
Daksh is present, very good. Dhruv Sharma, Gargi,
Present, ma'am.
Gaurav Singh, गौरव सिंह कभी नहीं आते हैं। हर्ष तोमर, जय गुप्ता, जिज्ञासा,
Present,
जुझार,
ma'am.
ठीक है। कार्तिकेय भट्ट, मलय, मलय नहीं है। मनीष सिंह भी नहीं है। मंथन भी नहीं है। गंगवार है। देन मोहित कुमार इज नॉट देयर।
प्रेजेंट मैम। प्रेजेंट मैम।
मोहित कुमार है,
यस मैम।
ठीक है। नैना शर्मा है।
Present, ma'am.
नमन इज नॉट देयर। निहारिका, ओम शर्मा, पावनी,
Present, ma'am.
ओके। प्रांजल,
Yes,
पुनीत,
ma'am. I'm present.
हाँ,
ma'am.
Puneet is also present. Then Samarth is also present. Zainab,
प्रेजेंट मैम।
हाँ, Zainab, are you there?
Ma'am.
Zainab is also there. Shaurya Shukla, are you there? No. Shreya Gangwar,
Present, ma'am.
Srishti Gautam,
Present, ma'am.
how are you?
I'm fine.
Srishti Singh,
Present, ma'am.
सिद्धांत यादव प्रेजेंट है, उनका माइक काम नहीं कर रहा है। स्तुति उपाध्याय, not there. Swali, not there. Tina is there. Viresh is there. Yash Mehta,
मैम वीरेश प्रेजेंट।
हाँ, Viresh is present. Yash is not there, right? Fine. Now tell me, we were on which particular topic of this elections, electoral politics?
Ma'am, we need to do polling and counting of votes.
We need to do polling
Yes, ma'am.
and votes. ठीक है। सचिन को भी हमने ले लिया है, सचिन आ गए हैं। हमें जाना है गूगल पे ना, इसको चैप्टर 3 को क्लोज करो। व्हाट्सएप पे नहीं रहना है हमें, हमें जाना है गूगल।
मैम प्लीज टेल पेज नंबर।
अब जस्ट अ मोमेंट बेटा।
45.
एक मिनट रुको। हम एक मिनट बस स्क्रीन शेयर कर लें, अगर सबके पास बुक्स नहीं है तो फिर मुश्किल हो जाएगी ना। इसको हमें बड़ा करना पड़ेगा। अरे ये क्या आ गया? जस्ट अ मोमेंट। हाँ जी, कहाँ पे थे हम लोग? विच पेज नंबर?
Ma'am,
मैम
in
पेज
old book it is
45.
45.
ओके। ठीक है, we were on this particular page. Code of conduct, I think, right?
That was done.
Ma'am, polling and counting of votes.
ठीक है, कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट हो गया था, पोलिंग एंड काउंटिंग ऑफ वोट्स था। ठीक है, जब इलेक्शन,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, see, whenever the elections are announced, the first thing that comes into process is the nomination of the candidates, revising of the electoral roll, or the voters list. Then this election campaign starts, and then this after this election campaign, whenever the date of election is there, one day before that, sorry, 48 hours before that, the election campaign stops, and then comes the final day of polling, and then the counting part, right?
Yes, ma'am.
चलिए, now what do you know about the voting thing? What do you know in voting?
Ma'am, in voting only people can give vote which are above 18.
ठीक है, and where do they vote from? Sitting at home, or they need to go outside as well?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, they need to go outside
outside.
They need to go out wherever their
to the
Yes,
polling
ma'am.
booth.
to the
Yes,
polling
ma'am.
nearby polling booth, wherever their votes are made of, like the
Ma'am.
areas are divided. Yes.
Ma'am, but in this period of time like COVID-19, if we had to do elections, what could have been the code of conduct?
See, code of conduct, of course, it will remain the same. If people are going for public meetings and all now, to see, because things are digitalizing, everything is digitalizing, maybe the election campaign takes place on the digital platform only, through Zoom
Yes,
meetings.
ma'am, but
Because
uh,
see, we like earlier we used to have our seminars and all, right? So we used to go for the seminars, but now we have webinar. These webinars are basically the seminars only. So through Zoom meetings we are connected.
yes, ma'am, through Zoom meetings.
Through Zoom meetings
Ma'am, I
only.
have attended one.
So just like this, like if during the COVID period elections are to be conducted, then of course things will be little different, right? Different in the sense everywhere this digitalization part will be practiced, and moreover for the campaign and all, for connecting to the general public, maybe a common platform is shared where they could connect to where the leaders could or the candidates could connect to the general public. It would be very interesting to know that how these elections are conducted in 2022, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Fine.
Yes, ma'am, but till that time the vaccine would have been there.
Vaccines, see everything will come, but the thing is, when earlier vaccines came for different ailments in the past years, people were not very comfortable with it. Reason being, everybody has their own way of taking things. So maybe you don't know that how people welcome this vaccination part, whether they will be open to it or not, whether they will openly go for it or not, whether they will be whether they'll be comfortable with this vaccination or not. Like in some of the countries where the vaccination has already been where it is already there, people have denied, people have refused to use it, because when this vaccination was tested on some of the patients, they could not survive. So keeping, everyone has their own way of taking things. So maybe it will not be very easy to sorry, convince people for the same. Is the recording
Yes,
going on,
ma'am.
class? Is the recording going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Right. So of course the scene will be different, like what we usually we were having in past for the elections. Maybe in the coming times things will change. The practice of casting vote may also change, but then not much of change I feel will be there. It will almost be the same, but the only the thing that I feel will change is the campaigning part, or connecting to the people, how what new ways they are
Yes, ma'am.
what new ways they are going to discover to connect to the general public, right? So we have all the three sections together. Kanika, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Read. Polling and counting of votes.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
The final stage of an election is the day when the voters cast or poll their vote. That day is usually called the election day. Every person whose name is on the voter list can go to a nearby polling booth, situated usually in a local school or a government office. Once the voter goes inside the booth, the election official identify her, put a mark on her finger and allow her to cast her vote. An agent or each candidate is allowed to sit inside the polling booth and ensure that the voting takes place in a fair way.
Now see
Ma'am, this
agent. Wait. Coming. Wait. This agent is basically, who is the agent over here? Can you tell?
Ma'am, election commissions
No, no, no,
person.
no, 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 no.
Yes.
I'm member
Agents.
of the pool.
I'm the member of the
Parties.
parties.
Exactly. These agents, of course, the whole thing is under the guidance of the election commissions representatives only. But here, this agent particularly means the representative of the respective, of the political parties that whose candidates are participating in the elections. So every party's, one person is there to ensure that nobody influences the voters, neither they are pressurized, nor they are, convinced to vote for a particular candidate of a particular party. So that way, all the different political parties which are there, members of each of that party is there in on the polling booths, just to see that no unfair practices are going on, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We
Yes,
need to
ma'am.
read this as well. Are the elections too expensive? Padho. Ananya?
Ma'am,
yes,
may I
ma'am.
read?
Wait.
Can I?
अनन्या read. अनन्या अभी रुको, पहले अनन्या पढ़ेंगी. हाँ.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, Ananya,
Ma'am,
please.
this box.
Yes, are the elections too expensive for our country?
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
A large amount of money is spent in conducting elections in India. For instance, the government spent about rupees 3,500 crores in conducting Lok Sabha elections in 2014. That works out to about rupees 40 person on the voter list. The amount spent by parties and candidates was more than what the government spent. Roughly speaking, the expenditure made by government parties and candidates was around 30,000 crores or rupees 500 per voters. Some people say that elections are a burden on our people, that our poor country cannot afford to hold elections once every 5 years. Let us compare this expenditure with some other figures. In 2005, our government decided to buy 6 nuclear submarines from France. Each submarine cost rupees 3,000 crores. Delhi hosted the Commonwealth Games in 2010. The estimate for its cost is around 20,000 crores. Are the elections too expensive? You decide.
Tell. Do you really feel the elections are very expensive?
Yes, ma'am.
They are.
No,
Actually,
ma'am.
they are. They are expensive. No का तो कोई reason हो ही नहीं सकता है. But you know, it is a must. We need to have elections after every 5 years. Reason being, we are one of the largest democracies of the world. Secondly, we completely believe in, legitimate government part, where the people choose their representatives and they ensure that their chosen representatives only become the part of the government. But on the other hand, the money that we spend for elections, that could be cut short. The amount, the percentage of the money that is, spent or that is used for elections, that can be cut short, so that other things could be looked after properly. Like abhi aap dekho, country requires lot of money. Like when nothing was going on, when there was a complete lockdown throughout the country, people were not working, though work from home was there. But then if you look at the datas of the country's economy during those time periods, during for the month of say March, April, May, or April, I think March 21st, the lockdown was put, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So from that time period till another 3 months, if you see, there was not exactly, there was no increase in the economy's, financial part. Country had to spend more and more of money to ensure all types of facilities to the general public. So that time, of course, see, there are sometimes there are hard times that the country has to face. But then the governments are intelligent enough to have contingent. हमने आपको शायद एक बार बताया था, we generally, the government always has contingency money that could be used for the unforeseen expenditures. So this lockdown that was imposed was one thing that was not expected. But then because we keep always extra additional money for the unforeseen expenditures, so of course the government was using that money only. But side by side, many of the people lost their jobs. Their livelihood was a problem. Like if I take example of Bareilly. In Bareilly, Bareilly is a small district, right? Now in Bareilly itself, there were several places where the food was made available to the general public, where people had lost their jobs. They were struggling for the livelihood. They didn't have jobs with them, and there was no food to eat. So it was the responsibility of the government to ensure regular supply of food to them. So this is how the money goes out. If in elections
Okay,
we are
ma'am.
going, and if in elections we are going to spend this much amount of money, then it will of course create problem for the hard times that the country has to face. Not always, but then yes, there are like when Kedarnath flood came, it was not expected, but still it was there, and people and the government had to look after the people who were affected by the floods, right? Then we had Bhuj earthquake in 2001. That was never expected. Of course the government had to look after that as well. Then there are several times when we have epidemic, when we have these drought, or the what do you call, famine situation in the places in the country. So for that also the government needs to keep the money in store. So when these kind of problems are there, of course we always we always keep money, extra money, additional money as savings for unforeseen expenditures. In our lives also we face certain problems, so we always keep that spare money with us. Same goes with the government. If government is going to spend this much money on elections every time, then of course there will be problems, because then how the country is going to ensure security and safety for its people. So we need to keep a balance, we need to keep a balance that what amount should be spent. That is why, if you remember in the previous topic we read about the assets and money, that the person, it is written also, there is a specific amount of money that could be spent by the political parties or the candidates. We have read this, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we have read.
It is because we need to ensure that not extra money is not wasted on the useless money, should like uselessly the money should not be wasted on the election campaigning. See, can you tell what are the expenditures for conducting elections in the country by the political parties?
Ma'am, maintenance of the polling booths.
Polling, चलो वो तो भूल जाओ. I am asking you about from the by the candidates. What type of expenditure does the candidate does
Ma'am, campaign.
Ma'am,
for the campaigning
advertisements.
part, right? Like
Ma'am,
what
for all
was,
the campaigns,
बताओ पावनी, बोलो बेटा.
ma'am, for all the campaigns that they organize.
What kind of money do they, how do they spend their money on the campaigns? What do they do?
Ma'am, for posters and newspaper
Ma'am, for the
advertisements.
posters and for the like the speakers that they use for their promotion and all.
Ma'am, even the vehicles.
Exactly, vehicle is used for the movement part, then posters are there, then they spend money on the media as well, right? The print media as well as the
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, they spend money on the print media also. Newspapers में आप देखो कितने कितने वो उनके spaces बने होते हैं, यहाँ इस particular party के बारे में
Yes, ma'am.
रहता है. ठीक है, very good. Okay, now coming to the next part. Hanji. See, in previous classes, I have told you that there have been several changes in the election processes in the country. Earlier, what processes we were following, the processes are the same, but the ways it is done, the way we conduct it, that has changed. Like I told you about the ballot papers and the ballot boxes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. But
Yes,
now,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
the practice of having ballot papers and ballot boxes has reduced to few places, right? Now in the present times we are using ballot papers and ballot boxes only for the election of the local governments, but some places, some states, they are not even using ballot papers and ballot boxes. They have simply switched on to the EVM machines, the electronic voting machines that are there now. Because see, the procedure by which the votes were to be registered, if we were using ballot, when we were using ballot boxes and ballot papers, it was a very lengthy procedure. But with the introduction of the electronic voting machines, it has become very easy to keep a record of the votes, as well as there is no forgery practiced in the stealing of the votes.
Yes, ma'am.
Like I told you, how in past, when the ballot boxes and ballot papers were used, how people were into wrong practices, where they were using, like where they were into practices of, snatching of the ballot boxes, changing the ballot papers in the boxes and then reproducing them, right? But because of the EVM machines, this election practices have become more fairer, because nobody can do any kind of forgery with these EVM machines. Though there were many people who, initially blamed that, these votes are being, what do you call, tapering was done with these EVM machines. But then now it is not, it was not correct. And there, like the election commission had properly shown in one of the, press conference, where they had opened everything and they said that how, like without, there is no way where these EVM machines could be tapered, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, chalo Gargi, read.
Earlier, the voters used to indicate who they wanted to vote for by putting a stamp on the ballot paper. A ballot paper is a sheet of paper on which the names of contesting candidates along with the party name and symbols are listed. Nowadays, electronic voting machines (EVM) are used to record votes. The machine shows the name of the candidates and the party symbols. Independent candidates do have their own symbols allotted by the election officials. All the voters uh, has to do is to press the button against the name of the candidate she wants to give her vote. Once the polling is over, all the EVMs are sealed and taken to a secure place. A few days later, on a fixed date, all the EVMs from a constituency are opened and the votes secured by each candidate are counted. The agents of all candidates are present there to ensure that the counting is done properly. The candidate who secures the highest number of votes from a constituency is declared elected. In a general election, usually the counting of votes in all the constituencies take place at the same time on the same day. Television channels, radio, and newspaper report this event. Within a few hours of counting, all the results are declared and it becomes clear as to who will form the next government.
Okay. Now, looking at the first part of the page, that is the left hand side of the page. Anything in this that is to be explained again, class?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All clear and understood?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. And the second part of the page, that is the right hand side,
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
clear.
that's also clear.
Clear.
is also clear now?
Clear.
Fine.
It's clear.
Now there is a check your progress. Let me see how much you have understood this. Identify the fair and the unfair electoral practices among the following. Pavni, read the first one.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Ah.
Ma'am, from this one earlier, the voters.
No. Identify the fair. Page 46 only. Identify the fair and the unfair electoral practices among the following. That pink bullet, no?
Yes, ma'am.
This one you read. First one.
A minister flags off a new train in his constituency a week before polling day.
This is a fair practice or unfair practice?
I'm unfair.
Ma'am, unfair.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, it is an unfair
Why?
practice.
They are facilitating the general public by flagging off a new train.
But according to the code of conduct, it should not be done before.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
As per the code of conduct of the election commission, anybody doing undertaking such kind of practices will be considered unfair electoral practice. Very good, class. Next,
Yes, ma'am.
Apurva, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Read out the second one.
A candidate promises that she will get a new train for her constituency if she is elected.
Unfair.
Ma'am, it is an unfair.
Ma'am,
नहीं
it is
नहीं
an unfair practice.
Fair
unfair
electoral
नहीं
thing.
है. अरे भाई unfair कैसे हो सकती है?
Ma'am,
Fair
it is
होगी.
a fair practice.
Ma'am,
वो
fair.
हाँ, it is a fair practice क्योंकि वो ये कह रही है कि भाई अगर आप ऐसा करोगे तो अगर आप मुझे लेके आओगे प्रैक्टिस में गवर्नमेंट में तभी तो मैं आपके लिए अच्छा कुछ कर पाऊंगी ना, है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ,